Andrea Keesee, and welcome to Simple as That. Today we are beating the summer heat and spending some time inside working on some sewing projects. Today we're going to make these therapeutic masks and therapeutic pillows. Now what makes them therapeutic is they can be put in the microwave and warmed up, or they can be put in the freezer and cooled down. Also, we are doing some aromatherapy with them by adding essential oils to our grains before we put them inside. Now, you can just pick your favorite essential oil. My two favorites are lavender and peppermint. And so those are the two that I would recommend, but you may have one that you like. So make sure you have that handy for this project. But what that does is allow you to have some aromatherapy while you're using your product. So let's get started with the supplies that you're going to need for this project. So what we have here is the pattern, and I will go over this later. This is a pattern I created. I did not find one on Pinterest that was printable. Most of them were hand-drawn and they just recommend you hand-draw them. But I prefer to have it a little bit more structured. So I created this for you, and it will be available to you at pinterest.com /Nex-Tech1. And you can click on that link and it'll take you to our Nex-Tech website, and you can print this out there. So you'll need those patterns. Then you will also need a paper scissors to cut out your pattern. You will need sewing scissors for fabric. You'll need pins. This is a rotary cutter. This is a cutting mat that's self-healing. Of course, you'll need your essential oils. You'll need your grains, and we are going to use, this is feed corn that I have purchased at our local farm store. And then also we're going to use rice, and this is jasmine rice because I like this kind of rice. It already has kind of a nice scent to it all by itself, so you wouldn't have to necessarily add any essential oils. But mixing this with lavender, it just really makes it a nice, warm, subtle scent. So we'll be using the jasmine rice in the therapeutic masks. You'll need a cup. You will also need a silicone funnel. A clear ruler is really handy. And we need a sewing machine, a nice ironing board and iron. Those things are really handy, so if you have those, you will need that as well. And I believe that's, fabric. Of course, we need our fabric. And what I have here is some black and white fabric. This is actually what we call fat quarters, and I bought these in a bundle with a whole bunch of other black and whites, and I just really felt like this butterfly pattern was fun and would work really great for these therapeutic masks. So we're going to use this for the therapeutic masks. And then this is some leftover fabric, and that's a neat thing about these pillows is you don't have to go out and buy fabric. If you already have fabric at home that you really love and you just don't want to throw it away or waste it, it does not take much to make these pillows. And you can really make them any size or shape. So this is some leftover fabric that I had, and I really love the black and white stripes. So we're going to use this as our pillow. But like I said, you can use any fabric that's cotton or linen. I recommend definitely using something that's natural, 100% cotton or 100% linen, and then that is a woven fabric. Try not to use anything metallic because you will have a fireworks display in your microwave. So, all right, we're going to get started now on getting the pattern cut out. Oh, one more thing that I want to talk about is while I was working on these projects that you see here, I wore a GoPro camera. So some of the footage that you're going to see today as we work on these projects together are from when I worked on these projects, and I'm really hoping that footage helps you see so that you can also do these projects a little easier because you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So let's get started.
Make a difficult choice an easy one with Cedarview Assisted Living's knowledgeable and caring staff. Your loved one will be professionally taken care of as they transition into their new community. With movies, holiday parties, planned exercises, and games, residents will have opportunities every day to enjoy their time at Cedarview. Multiple room styles are available, ensuring a just right fit for your loved one. Come see Cedarview Assisted Living for yourself next to Sternberg Museum. The care you need, the home you want.
Hi.
We're looking for insurance.
Oh, let's see who's free.
When insurance agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a Trusted Choice independent agent is free to shop many companies for a better deal. Free to do what's right for you.
Let us shop for you. Contact Rogers & Associate to learn more.
Okay, let's get started with a pattern. This is, like I had said earlier, I couldn't find a printable on Pinterest, and I really wanted something that was clean, and I didn't want to freehand it. I just didn't feel like it would be symmetrical, and that's important to me. So what I did is I created this printable, and you can find this on our Pinterest page at pinterest.com/Nex-Tech1. And I'm going to do a little bit of explaining about the pattern. So if you look here, there's an opening at the top that we're going to leave open, so we won't sew that till the very end. That'll be our very last step. And the dotted line around is where we will actually do the sewing, and this shows that we have a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And then the outside is where we're going to cut. We want our grain line, or where the main grain of the fabric will go from right to left. And then one more thing about this pattern is it is completely symmetrical. The right side is the same as the left. So you could actually put the center on the fold, and just you would just have to cut 2, because we definitely have to cut 2 of each pattern. So let's get started using your paper scissors and get it cut out. Cut out along the dark outside line. Once we have this part done. Okay, and there's no reason to keep that extra. So we'll put that aside. All right, now we're ready to put this on our fabric. Now what I have here, like I said earlier, this was left over from some fat quarters that I had purchased. And you may wonder, if you haven't sewn much or worked with fabric much, you may wonder what a fat quarter is. So I'm gonna tell you, Google's gonna tell us actually. So what a fat quarter is, it usually measures 18 inches by 22 inches, and it's 1/4 of a yard of fabric. And quilters really like these because they can just grab a stack of fat quarters that usually they're all coordinating. Like this one, was a set of all black and white fabrics of different patterns. So that was kind of fun. And this was just some leftovers that I didn't use in my project. So what we're gonna need to do, they're usually folded up really tight, and they have kind of crease marks in them. And so what we wanna do is we wanna iron those creases out. So we're gonna go to the ironing board and we're gonna iron the creases out. And then we'll come back and we'll get our pattern laid out on it and get started cutting it out. Okay, so one thing I wanna talk about when we press our fabric is, since it's 100% cotton, and sometimes those creases can be hard to get out, use some spritz or spray and steam from your iron, and that will sure help get those creases out. So now we have nice flat fabric. And I want you to notice on this butterfly pattern, there's kind of a center mark here. And so if you look here on the finished ones, you have the butterflies in the center. And on this pattern, there's really no center on this one, so we're not gonna worry so much about that one. But I wanna try to put my center line and find a good center spot for that butterfly, so that can kind of be right in the middle. I just think that adds a little bit. It's just thinking about it. And as you can see on a fat quarter, you could get about 3 different masks out of one fat quarter. And so we could technically get 6 masks, and I'm using one pattern on one side and one pattern on the other. So that's 6 projects or 6 gifts that you could have done with minimal amounts of fabric. So that's pretty great. So what we're going to do now is get our pattern pinned down, and I'm going to use a rotary cutter, and since I'm using this self-healing mat, it makes cutting out so much faster because you don't have to use the scissors, and you just basically press really hard and it goes through both layers of fabric. So that's what this is a rotary cutter, and you can get those at most craft stores. And we'll just start here at the edge. And they're very sharp, so you want to keep your fingers at a distance. Once we have one done, you want to take your fabric shears and just go around the edge anywhere that the rotary cutter might have not quite got all the way through. Looks pretty good. Now on this, we don't have to mark anything on, so there's no marks to be made on the fabric. So we're just going to take the pins out, move the pattern over. And on this fabric, like I said, we don't have to worry about centering anything up. So we will just make sure it's on the grain line and put our pins in. And it's nice because it only takes about 4 pins. You don't have to use so many pins, which is really great. If you had to pick it up and use a fabric scissors, you'd want to put a few more pins in, but the rotary cutter makes it a lot easier. And it makes cutting curves really easy. Your fabric shears and just go around where the rotary cutter might have just missed a little. Most of the time it doesn't, but just in case. Okay. Now we'll take the pins out. And put our pattern aside. And now we're going to put right sides of the fabric together, and this is where we're going to start sewing. So we have basically 2 therapy masks that we're going to do at a time. So we're going to put the black with white and the white with black, right sides together. Because we're going to turn it right side out. And if again, I'll remind you on our pattern here, we are going to leave about this much space open at the top. So what I like to do is that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to put my pins in here at the top, and I'm going to leave just an opening. And then I will put pins all the way around the other to hold it in place while I sew. And pins just help. I know a lot of people who sew who don't use a lot of pins, but I just feel like it makes the end product so much better because you don't have to worry about the fabric slipping or one side getting slightly off and then having to use the seam ripper. That's my least favorite thing. So, all right, we'll get both of these done. Again, I'm putting the pins right there where the opening will be. We'll go around. And once we have it pinned, we're going to go to the sewing machine and we're going to sew. And we're going to use a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And we are also going to clip and trim a little bit once we're done sewing. And I've marked that on the pattern, but we'll go over that as soon as I'm done sewing. So I'm going to go sew and we'll be right back. All right, we've got them sewn, and so next on our list to do is to trim. And also we're going to do clips. And why we are clipping is it really is helpful if you can clip the curves because we're gonna turn it right side out and that way it lays nicer. So first thing we're gonna do is take the pins out. And we will start kind of here at the center. And here's a tip, do not do this because what you could do by accident is cut too far and cut into the seam allowance. So just use the very tip of your scissors and just clip just about 1/8 of an inch from the seam allowance. And we're gonna clip about every inch, go all the way around till we get up here to where it kind of gets straight. There. We'll do that same thing over here. Okay. We'll do that on both sides. Okay. Okay, now we're going to turn it right side out. So just stick your finger down, and I kind of start with one edge, one side. Now we can, if you want to, you can trim some of that excess off. I'm not going to worry about it, but you can trim it a little bit closer to the seam allowance as well. So we'll start and we'll turn that like that. Then we'll grab the other side. And then just kind of roll the seam with your fingers. And you can even stick your finger inside there and just make that seam open up. Roll it. And then we're going to take this to the ironing board and iron, and we're going to iron the opening shut and iron it so it's nice and flat. Okay? And we'll be right back.
The Rusty Tractor in Kensington offers big city dining with a small town feel. The Rusty Tractor features hand-cut steaks, burgers, wraps, and more, all with generous portions and quality products. The Rusty Tractor is proud to serve the area farming communities and welcomes everyone. Come as you are in your boots and jeans. You'll be right at home. Open daily and conveniently located on Highway 36. For more information, find them on Facebook, or for a full menu, visit rustytractorkensington.com.
If you could, what would you have in your kitchen? The quietest dishwasher? Sure. A big 28 cubic foot refrigerator? Oh yeah. A true convection wall oven? Check. You'll find Frigidaire professional kitchen appliances at Genuine Appliance in Hayes. They have all that, plus real stainless steel for fewer fingerprints and smudges. Frigidaire at Genuine Appliance at 1224 East 27th in Hayes. Your dream kitchen doesn't have to be a dream anymore.
All right, we've got them pressed flat and you can see that they're all ready to go. The opening is still left right here, but we've pressed it so when we get our rice inside, we can sew it shut very easily. All right, so now we're gonna prepare the rice. And like I said, it's jasmine rice. You could just use it just as itself, but we're gonna add a little bit of lavender essential oils to it. And what I have is just a little bamboo spoon here, and I'm just gonna add just a few drops. It does not take much. There's about 4. And we're just gonna move the rice around just to get that oil on it. And each mask will take about a cup of rice. You can add as much or as little, but that I felt was just about the right amount. We'll use our silicone funnel and pour our rice in. And just shake it a little bit. You can even squeeze, since it's silicone, you can squeeze it and it'll just flow right in there. Okay. Now we'll do the other one. About 4 drops is what it takes. This one's a little bit more than a cup, but that'll be all right. And just slide this. Okay. Okay, and we are almost done. Can you believe it? That didn't take very long at all. So we're gonna go downstairs and sew those openings shut, and what we're gonna do is just a simple top stitch. We're not gonna worry about, now you could top stitch all the way around. In fact, I did that with this one, but once I did it, I realized it wasn't essential. So I would just stitch the opening shut, especially if you're going to make several of these for friends. It just saves you time, and it doesn't, I don't think it makes any difference. So we'll stitch the opening shut and go past the opening about a half inch to an inch, and then we're done, and these are ready to use. All right, so we finished that up, we've sewn them shut, and now we're going to move on to the pillows. And these smell so great. The aromatherapy that comes from them will just, it makes all the difference in the world. Next, we're going to start on the pillow, and I did make a little pattern that will be available on our Pinterest page, but it's not necessarily. You can literally just take any scrap of fabric that you have that you feel would make a nice pillow, and work with it. In fact, that's what I did. I had this fabric left over from a project, and it was already cut out, so I just thought this would make a great pillow. But really, all it needs to be is about 6 inches wide, and then any length that you feel would work for your project. So I'm really excited to be able to use some scraps because I don't like to waste. And so what we're gonna do is turn this one right sides together, And this goes together really fast. These pillows are super simple. So what we'll do is we're gonna pin each end. There's a fold on this end. So what we'll do is we're gonna leave a small opening on this end, and we're gonna sew all the way around and end right here. We're gonna clip the corners, and then we will turn it right side out, fill it with corn, and sew the opening shut, and done. That's how simple this is. So I'm gonna go sew, and when I come back, we will finish this project up.
The easiest way for you to get anywhere in the country is the Hayes Regional Airport. Twice daily flights between Hayes and Denver means you are only 45 minutes from over 100 direct flights to get you to your destination as quick as possible. Service from SkyWest has completely changed the flight experience out of Hayes thanks to their 50-passenger jets that include complimentary beverages and an in-flight restroom. With free parking and short security lines, there has never been a better time to use the Hayes Regional Airport. The next time you travel, check Hayes first at flyhays.com to see the time and money you could save.
Okay, we're on the home stretch. And what we did after we got done sewing, I clipped all 4 corners down at an angle, and then I turned it right side out, pressed it, and then we have started filling it with the corn. Now this takes a lot of corn, and so what you're gonna end up putting in here is almost 14 cups of dried feed corn. And and what I do is I fill a cup full at a time, and really total, you only want to put about maybe 5 drops of lavender in here because it's so strong, you don't want it to overpower you. So we just put a drop, fill it, use our handy dandy silicone funnel, and finish it up. Now I want to give you some tips on heating these. Some people ask, well, how long do we heat these? So I will have a printable about that. All of the instructions will be available on Pinterest. But something about like the Therapeutic masks, they're so much smaller, they don't take very much time at all. You want to start with 30 seconds in the microwave. You want to put it in a microwavable tray and then spritz it with a little water. And start it with 30 seconds and then take it out, feel it, see if it's warm enough. If it's not warm enough, put it in for another 30 seconds because you don't want to scorch the rice. If you scorch the rice, you ruin it and you will never want to use it again. And the same thing applies with the corn pillows. You'll want to start with, since they're larger and there's so much more corn inside, start with a minute. Microwaves vary, so you may end up cooking or warming your corn pellet for up to 3 minutes. But start with 1, take it out, feel it, and then add additional time in 30-second increments. That way you don't accidentally scorch the corn and ruin your pillow. Again, same applies with this. You'll want to put it in a microwavable tray, spritz it with a little bit of water. That moisture will help because there's not much moisture in the corn or the rice, and so it just helps heat them more evenly as you do that in the microwave. Now if you want to throw it in the freezer, not much needs to be said there. You just put it in the freezer, let it get really cold, take it out, and then use it. So really that's about it. I think we're just about done. I think that's just the right amount of corn in that pillow. What we're going to do now is sew it shut, and this is done. I really hope you enjoyed these projects today on Simple as That. Again, find us on Pinterest. We also are on Instagram, and we have a YouTube channel. If you don't catch us on Nex-Tech Local 1, catch us on YouTube. Thanks for watching.